I'm just going to film that as well. I've just stopped it and done it again, but I'm just going to leave that going there. I thought it was great. I think at the start, you really rushed and you rolled into your ideas, and then the next bit, you went into kind of what your brief was.
Yeah.
If you just flip-flop them over and talked about what your brief was, obviously, coming in, I was trying to be as blind as possible, that I was coming in kind of a bit blind. It's nice to just sort of, when you're doing a pitch, to really kind of set up your audience. Remember, your audience are, and Beverly sort of heard it sort of blank. You need to make sure you set them up. So structure of a pitch is really important. When you got going though, it was fantastic. You actually showed loads and loads of passion, which I think is 90% of selling it. Most people will engage with passion more than they necessarily will engage with your idea, which is a shame if you're not great at sort of impassionate pitches, but you obviously showed you were. You were a little bit nervous at the start. It's a bit unfamiliar, but I think, we like to say we're all friends here and that kind of things, but I just felt like after that you actually delivered, and I got into it. I thought that was really nice. You were strong about what you wanted to do, which is good. I know you want to do the filmmaking side, so on the directing side of things, having a very clear idea about what you want to do and what you want to make is basically rule number one as a director. So I think that's really good. You'd had a thought. I'd have liked personally, as a producer side of things, I'd have liked to have gone to a bit more detail into the equipment, why you're using that equipment. So you'd put up DSLRs there, and DSLRs do very nice shallow depth of field and that kind of thing. That could have been, I have chosen this equipment because of these reasons. But your research that we've talked about beforehand was obviously in there, and that was quite nice as well. Yourself, Amira?
I think, yeah, I agree. You kind of jumped in because you were like, now I'm going to just talk. But the minute you felt comfortable, it really came across, and I was there with you on each kind of, every time you were explaining the point, I understood it. For me, I think it would have been nice to a little bit more about the collaborators and kind of what ages you were looking, like a bit more specific. James wanted more about production. I would have liked a bit more about what ages would you find and why and reasoning behind that. But I felt like, you held it, and the minute you felt comfortable, I was comfortable with you, and the passion did come across.
Yeah.
And as somebody new sitting here who has no idea, I just like people.
Yeah.
I was actually very impressed, I was, in terms of, because I know that it's very difficult to move on from an issue such as domestic violence and how that was portrayed behind the backdrop. And I think then how you linked in the complexities of elderly relationships with younger and the prejudice, that is a very kind of strong topic. But for me, sitting here, I think this is great because you're using that methodology, knowing that there is a lot of prejudice and a lot of assumptions out there, and the integration of youth culture and elderly culture is quite complex. So sitting here like that, I wasn't ooh, you drew me in. So I agree with both of them in terms of, and I think that's nervousness as well. How much do you give in? Do you say the DSR or do you say the collaborate? But I think it's something that you could build on, and it would be a very powerful presentation. And I look forward to seeing the film. Has she got to create the product for the?
Yeah, that's the idea. We kind of assign this to there.
Somebody new sitting down.